Among all the living species that may or may not have been discovered until now, there are some that are so bizarre in nature that they will leave you puzzled. Stick around to get to see beings that even the most of experts didn't have an explanation of.
Alright, go on, get him in. Oh my gosh, dude.
A disturbing video surfaced online, leaving people puzzled. It showed a strange pale creature being cooked in a skillet. Large, bulging blue eyes with a humanoid-like shape. It looked somewhat like a chicken, but those eyes, chickens don't have those. Its eerie appearance had people questioning if it was an alien or some kind of mutated amphibian. No one knows what it was or who recorded the footage. For now, all we can do is wait for the truth to come out, but until then, let's move on. Transparent reptile. This is real evidence of human involvement in altering the natural appearance of living beings. A video surfaced online showing a gloved hand holding a reptile. It was a chameleon, not the kind known for its camouflage. Its body had a red hue, but most of it was transparent. People were puzzled, but the hand holding it revealed the truth. It was a diaphonized chameleon, a preserved specimen that had undergone a chemical process to make the body transparent while staining the bones red and the cartilage blue, a technique used for scientific research, but definitely unsettling to see. Goat-insect hybrid. You may think you know the Earth and its creatures. Well, this video might change that. A strange clip buzzed all over the internet. At first glance, it showed what seemed like an ordinary animal grazing on grass. It had the head of a goat, complete with horns and fur, but its body was completely segmented, like an insect. Multiple legs extended from its sides, moving in a way that just didn't feel natural. People lost their minds. Some were convinced it was the result of a secret crossbreeding experiment, if not a very rare and bizarre case of birth defect. Deep sea oddity.
There's a strange call that we had tonight. An elderly couple report this washed up on the local beach.
Fishing at night always gave better chances, or so they said. That's what this angler believed, until he reeled this out. It had an unnatural shaped body with a bit too many limbs. Its pinkish hue stood out under the dim light, the kind of color deep sea creatures used for camouflage. It somewhat resembled a sea pig, but something about it was off, way off. He had spent years fishing these waters, but he had never seen anything like this. How did it end up here? And why did it look like it had crawled straight out of a nightmare? He had no answer. And honestly, he wasn't sure he wanted them.
Either some kind of birth defect or just badly decomposed.
Armed fish. Locals in Thailand were stunned when an unusual creature appeared in a nearby river. It floated smoothly on the water, its face eerily resembling a human's, but its body was stiff, with hairless skin that looked unnatural. The tail and clawed hand led many to call it the armed fish. Wild debates erupted. Some believed it was a spy from another planet, while others thought it was a government experiment or just a silicon model. But what if it was something else? It did bear some resemblance to a salamander, maybe a species no one had seen before. River enigma. On January 5th, 2018, a local was relaxing at the Geylang River Bridge when he spotted something unusual in the water. A strange creature was swimming, its body unlike anything he'd seen before. It had a fin, a tail, and a large mouth with whiskers, looking like a mix between a monitor lizard and a catfish. It wasn't caught, but he managed to record a video, and that was enough to leave everyone puzzled. Experts examined the footage and compared it to known species. While some leaned toward it being a giant catfish with unusual features, others weren't so sure. Its body structure didn't fully match any known fish or reptile. Could it be an undiscovered species? Until it's found again, the mystery remains. Washed up horror. Beachgoers are used to finding shells on the sand, but this time they stumbled upon something terrifying. A decayed, partially decomposed carcass had washed ashore. Its exposed raw flesh made it almost unrecognizable. The elongated body and remnants of limbs or fins suggested it was a marine animal, maybe a dolphin, seal, or large fish that had undergone extreme decomposition. Marine carcasses often get broken down by seawater, leading to strange, monstrous appearances. Many similar finds have turned out to be whales, fish, or seals in an advanced state of decay, but what if this one wasn't? Zombified being. Who would have thought that leaving home for a few days would lead to this? A guy had just returned from vacation, ready to settle back in, but as he stepped inside and discovered a being that no one would have ever expected, something was roaming in his house, and it wasn't human. It moved casually through the space. Its limbs were long, its skin pale, the face looked distorted, as if one head wasn't enough, there was another near its neck, or maybe it was a mouth, wide open, frozen in some scary expression. They say these beings can sense energy. The more you panic, the worse it gets. Shape-shifting intruder. You better not visit abandoned places at night. This video is proof of that. A guy decided to check out his ancestors' old abandoned house, just a quick visit, nothing more. But that turned out to be a huge mistake. In the backyard, something appeared. At first, it had a gaunt, skeletal figure. Its face looked disturbingly human, but it moved on all fours like an animal. He barely had time to process what he was looking at. Then in an instant, it changed. Now it looked like a dog. Had he imagined what he saw before? Well, people say skinwalkers are master shapeshifters. Maybe this one saw him too and decided to blend in. Baby dragon. A local from China recently shared a video of a bizarre creature. While enjoying the calm at the canal, he spotted it swimming toward him. It had a small, scaly body and tiny horns on its head, making it look almost mythical. The strange being resembled a newly hatched baby dragon, its features too fantastical to believe. The video spread fast, sparking wild debates. Some believed it was a surviving remnant of a prehistoric dragon-like species hidden away in remote regions. Dragons are said to avoid humans, staying deep in hidden habitats. But if this was truly a baby, maybe it had wandered too far from its home. Nahual sighting. A tourist driving through Mexico decided to stop by the roadside, unaware it would be a mistake. In the distance, he spotted a creature he couldn't quite recognize. At first, it walked on two legs, but then it dropped to all fours and started moving toward him. Fast. Could it be a Nahual? According to local folklore, Nahuales are humans who can transform into animals to gain special powers. But before he could react, the creature suddenly stopped. It just stood there, as if sending a warning. Maybe it just wanted to scare him off. If that was the case, it definitely worked. Three-eyed catfish.
That is nuts.
Out of all the nasty things lurking in Brooklyn's polluted Gowanus Canal, what this guy found was probably the strangest. On November 8th, 2015, a fisherman stood on a bridge overlooking the canal when he caught a catfish. But this wasn't just any catfish, it had 3 eyes. The Gowanus Canal is one of the most polluted waterways in the US. It was once Brooklyn's main industrial hub, but years of waste dumping turned it into a toxic mess. Some believe the extreme pollution could have caused strange mutations like the three-eyed catfish. While the canal's condition makes this story believable, some scientists and journalists remain skeptical.
Yeah. That's what somebody just passed.
Petrified crab. Divers exploring the deep sea floor stumbled upon something massive hidden beneath layers of seaweed and debris. At first it looked like a boulder, but as they got closer, they saw the outline of legs. Huge, unmoving, and covered in marine growth. It was a giant crab, completely petrified. Its massive claws were frozen mid-motion, as if it had been caught in time. The scary sight made them wonder, how long had it been there? What could have turned this once-living creature into stone? Giant deep-sea predator. With 80% of the ocean still unexplored, who knows what might show up next? A group of fishermen had just pulled in their biggest catch yet, hauling it onto the deck, but the moment they saw it up close, their excitement turned to shock. It was a massive shark-like creature with a mouth stretched wide open, revealing rows of jagged, needle-like teeth. Its dark, rough skin looked built for the deep. Its sheer size made the fishermen look tiny standing next to it. This was no ordinary catch. It was a monster from the abyss. Living seaweed.
ยี่อะไรครับอุ้ยตัวขาด
อุ้ยมันขาดเองเหรอ
Many people at the beach collect seaweed floating in the water and take it home. This angler did the same, but what he picked up wasn't seaweed. On January 13th, 2021, in Bang Pakong River, Thailand, he spotted a strange creature drifting on the surface. He took it home, only to realize it had dozens of legs. Later, it was identified as a bristleworm, a freshwater creature that appears more often in cooler seasons. But for him, it was a first, and definitely not what he expected to bring back that day. Tree-clinging oddity. A strange video surfaced online, recorded in Russia. A man spotted a tiny creature clinging to a tree. It wasn't a squirrel like you'd expect. No, this thing had odd aquatic features. Its limbs seemed better suited for swimming than climbing. The face resembled that of a frog, with wide, unblinking eyes. What made it even weirder was how it didn't try to escape. Most animals avoid people, but this one didn't seem to care it was being filmed. Naturally, netizens had plenty to say. Some guessed it was a fish-squirrel hybrid, while others thought it could be an alien. Could this be a rare creation of nature? Maybe. But with today's advancements in genetic experiments, we can't be too sure. Preserved mermaid? A group of fishermen set out to explore the sea, but what they pulled from the water, no one was ready for that. At first, the crowd gathered in excitement, but the moment they saw it, they were. A thin, bony figure, long, twisted tail, hollow eyes that seemed to stare into nothing. It looked disturbingly human. Rumors spread like wildfire. A mermaid? A preserved sea creature? Some swore it was proof of ancient legends. But if mermaids were meant to be beautiful, why did this one look so eerie? The body was later placed in a museum, carefully preserved, but even behind glass, it still doesn't feel like it belongs. Bunyip sighting.
It looks so weird. Is it a head? Or is it a different part of the body?
Australia is home to many unique animals, but one sighting left everyone baffled. A local kept seeing something unusual in the swamp, but it always disappeared before he could get a clear look. Determined to solve the mystery, he set up a camera near the water. When he checked the footage, he was shocked. Bullet-shaped head emerged from the swamp. Authorities examined the footage and linked it to the Bunyip, a creature from Aboriginal legends said to lurk in swamps and billabongs. Some dismissed it as a misidentified animal, while others believed the legendary predator had finally been caught on camera. With no clear answers, the swamp was soon declared off limits. But even now, whispers of the Bunyip keep people on edge. Pig-faced fish. Confusion spread among the locals when a fisherman revealed his bizarre catch. It was a large fish, swimming like any other, but its face was unsettling. Its wide, flat snout, rounded mouth, and distinct nostril-like openings give it an eerie resemblance to a pig's face. It didn't seem natural at all. Some believe scientists have been creating hybrids and secretly releasing them into the water. But the fisherman? To him, it was just a rare catch, one that earned him praise. Too bad he had no idea what he had really pulled from the depths. Unusual catch. A fisherman in Zhejiang province, China, was pulling in his net when he noticed something strange. At first, it looked like a small alligator, but something was off. Its skin was smooth, more like a dolphin than a reptile. Experts quickly identified it as a beaked whale, a rare deep-sea species from the Zombified family. This one was small, likely a young calf. Beaked whales dive over 1,600 feet into the ocean, rarely seen near the surface. But like all whales, they need air. Was this one lost, or was there another reason it ended up in the net? Squeaky creature. In the Sea of Azov, villagers from the Rostov region of Russia pulled up a catch they never expected. A strange shark-like creature emerged from the water, letting out eerie squeaky sounds. For a moment, the fishermen thought they had caught an alien and quickly grabbed their phones to record. The video showed its head, body, and long tail clearly. It weighed nearly 100 kilograms, adding to the mystery. Locals started recalling old legends of mermaids said to live in these waters. Some claimed it was just a type of ray, but experts from the Service for Anomalous Phenomena haven't confirmed anything yet. Midnight stare. It's better not to look outside the window at midnight. You never know what might be lurking. But a guy made that mistake. As he glanced out, he spotted a dog until he realized he was wrong. It had a human-like head, and it was staring right at him. Rumors had been spreading about skinwalkers roaming the area, creatures that could mimic animals, but never perfectly. Maybe this was one of them. A shapeshifter, waiting, watching. So next time you see a dog, you better look again. Who knows what time will reveal? Canal reptile.
Get him in. Oh my gosh, dude. Dude, that thing's like 4 feet long.
During fishing in a freshwater canal, two friends were out fishing when they unexpectedly hooked a reptile instead of a fish. At first, they were confused about what was caught in the weeds, but when they pulled it up, they realized it was a massive iguana, about 4 feet long. The iguana had likely been swimming across the water when it accidentally got tangled in their fishing line. After pulling it in and observing it up close, they decided to release it. As soon as they let go, the iguana quickly swam back into the water, disappearing like a mini Godzilla. A wild catch they wouldn't forget anytime soon.
Oh my gosh, look at that. It's like Godzilla.
Hungry otter. A carpenter was busy in his garage near the woods when he noticed a movement. Tiny hands stretched out from a hole, reaching for the truffle he was holding. The little intruder struggled, but finally grabbed it. As it took a bite, its face became visible. To his surprise, it wasn't some small rodent, it was an otter. It chomped on the truffle, its whiskers twitching in delight. Who would have thought an otter would go this far for a snack? Flying creature. A woman in a residential area noticed something strange in the sky. It wasn't a plane or a drone, nothing she'd expect. It looked like a fish with wings gliding smoothly, but as it got closer, its shape became clearer. It had an elongated body, leathery wings, and a sharp beak-like mouth. It didn't match any known bird. Some believed it was a misidentified stork, while others were sure it was a prehistoric creature. Could it be a surviving pterosaur? Floating mystery. Back in 2017, a man in Brunei spotted something bizarre in the river, and honestly, it looked otherworldly. A creature was floating upside down. Its sharp teeth were fully exposed with its mouth stuck wide open, but it wasn't moving. No struggling, no signs of life, just drifting with the current like it didn't belong there. People gathered, trying to make sense of it. A rare species, a deep sea creature lost in the wrong place, or something not from this world at all. Chicken crab. A park near Salt Lake City just became the center of a bizarre mystery, and it all started with a strange creature caught on camera. It had the body of a chicken, but the legs of a crab. Yeah, you heard that right, a chicken crab. It scuttled slowly, pecking at the ground like it was searching for food, but no one could figure out where it came from, or what it even was. A mutation, a species never seen before, or maybe, just maybe, a proof that secret experiments are happening right under our noses. For now, no answers. Just one weird creature and a whole lot of questions. Alien scorpion. If a cockroach is enough to make people jump, imagine seeing this. A man in Arizona spotted a strange insect near his home. At first, it looked like a scorpion, but something was off. Its body was too thin, its wings were long, and its stinger was curved in a way that just didn't seem right. He took a video and posted it online. Within hours, people were freaking out. Then a biologist stepped in. Turns out it wasn't a scorpion at all. It was a Mecoptera, a harmless insect. It may look terrifying, but there's nothing to worry about. Faceless goats. A strange video has taken over the internet, and people can't decide if it's cute or just plain weird. It showed two baby goats playing and munching on grass, but not usual goats. They didn't have visible faces, and their ears looked more like wings. People couldn't believe their eyes. Maybe some kind of hybrid or genetic experiment. Whatever they were, one thing's for sure. This video left everyone puzzled. Tiny water humanoid. You've probably seen crabs scuttling near the shore, but they aren't the only ones down there. A beachgoer noticed something strange moving in the water. At first, he thought it was just seaweed drifting with the waves, but then it walked. A tiny humanoid figure, fully submerged, moving as if the water was its home. It might be one of those underwater aliens people always talk about. If that was the case, maybe this one got a little too close to humans by mistake. Flesh-like mystery. Every now and then, strange creatures appear online, and this one is no exception. A video surfaced showing a bizarre fleshy object with bubble-like formations covering its body. It looked slimy and soft, almost like it was pulsing. Long, thin tendrils stretched from its sides, moving slightly as if alive. Its colors made it even more unsettling, almost like exposed flesh. Some think it's a deep-sea creature, others say it might be a mutation, but no one knows for sure. Whatever it is, it doesn't look normal. Water hose mystery. A fisherman was getting ready to set sail when he noticed something unusual near the docks. A gray face surfaced from the water, reaching out with what looked like tiny hands to grab a water hose. It clung to it tightly, as if trying to take a sip. For a moment, he thought he had just discovered a new sea creature, one that preferred fresh water over salt. But as he stepped closer, the truth became clear. The head, the shape, it was a manatee. What he thought were hands was actually its mouth, wrapping around the hose to drink. No deep sea mystery this time, just a thirsty visitor looking for a drink. Magnetic reptile.
Watch out, people. I must hope you this to blow a first never.
A local noticed a reptile lying motionless on the ground. It didn't seem well. Then his eyes caught a metallic object nearby, but the real shock came when he pulled it. A whole chain started emerging from the reptile's body. It kept coming out until it suddenly stuck to its skin, as if some invisible force was pulling it back. This strange reaction suggested something unnatural, possibly a biomechanical hybrid created through secret experiments. With metal implanted inside, it might have been altered for unknown purposes, or maybe it had mistakenly eaten a magnet.
Demon from hell. Joe.
Scaly mystery creature.
Yo, اول پس این دیگه چیه؟
An anonymous user uploaded a video that quickly caught everyone's attention. It showed a strange, scaly creature crawling slowly across the ground. Its shape and movement were unlike anything most people had ever seen. Onlookers started guessing. Some thought it was a caterpillar, while others believed it was a brittle worm. But none of those answers seemed to fit. An expert later identified it as a sea mouse, but even after the explanation, many weren't convinced. It didn't quite match the usual appearance of a sea mouse.
زندگیم که همه اینایی که اینجا میگن اینو ما تا حالا تو زندگیمون ندیدیم.
Dolphin eel sighting. In New Zealand, a man was relaxing by a freshwater stream when he noticed something unusual. A small beak-like shape broke the surface, followed by a slender body that briefly emerged before slipping back into the water. At first, he thought it was a tiny dolphin, but as he watched closely, he realized it was actually a longfin eel, an unusual species known for its ability to grow large and live for decades. Locals call it the dolphin eel because of its curved movements and smooth body, which can be mistaken for a young marine mammal at first glance. Sewer serpent? Workers inspecting a sewer captured a video that quickly spread online. The footage showed a dark drainage pipe, but what caught everyone's attention was the thing inside. A long, slithering form twisted within, its body blending with the shadows. Some believed it was a massive snake-like creature lurking beneath the city, hiding where no one would dare look. Others argued it was just a flexible pipe used for cleaning. But sewers have always been home to strange hidden beings, mutated creatures adapted to the dark, feeding on waste and avoiding human eyes. From giant rats to unidentified wriggling masses, the underground world holds secrets few have dared to uncover. Cow-faced seal. a bizarre creature washed ashore, leaving locals and authorities stunned. It appeared to be a sea seal, but shockingly, its face looked exactly like a cow's, even with horns on its head. It wasn't weak or struggling, moving actively as if it had always lived in the water. Rumors spread that scientists had been altering marine creatures, secretly releasing them into the wild. Some believed these hybrids were part of experiments, while others thought they were created to help balance ecosystems damaged by human activity. If true, who knows what else might be lurking beneath the waves? Or maybe nature itself crafted this strange being. Fish parasite shock. While fishing, a fisherman was shocked when an intruder flopped onto the boat's deck. It was a fish, but something was clearly wrong. 3 black worm-like creatures were protruding from its body, wriggling as the fish struggled. The sight was disturbing. At first, he thought it might be an infection, but then he realized these were parasitic that attached themselves and drained nutrients, weakening their host over time. The fish must have been in extreme distress, which could explain why it jumped onto the boat, desperately trying to escape the water. This fish was unlucky, but maybe by landing on the boat, it found a chance to survive. Living swamp statue. A tourist was walking through a quiet swamp when he spotted a strange figure among the reeds. It had a human-like shape, but its body was covered in moss and mud. It stood eerily still, almost too still. Out of curiosity, he stepped closer. No movement, no sound. For a moment, it felt like the figure was watching. Then he realized it wasn't a real creature. It was a sculpture crafted from seaweed, mud, and algae. Over time, these sculptures change color, blending into the swamp like something alive. But what if one day, what you see isn't just a sculpture? Some say cryptids lurk in places like this, hiding in plain sight. Jello water creature. A fisherman came across a strange sight, something floating in the water. It wasn't a fish or any sea creature he had ever seen before. It had wing-like structures that helped it glide smoothly through the water, almost as if it was flying beneath the surface. When the video surfaced online, theories flooded in. Some believed it was a baby sea slug or a marine creature of unknown species, blending perfectly with its surroundings. With so much of the ocean still unexplored, many wonder if creatures like this have always been there, lurking just out of sight. Was this an undiscovered species or a glimpse of something we were never meant to see? Pig-faced fish. An underwater camera captured something shocking, a creature unlike anything seen before. It moved smoothly through the water, but its face looked exactly like a pig, a round snout with small horns on its head, but the rest of its body was completely fish-like. People couldn't believe it. Was it a hybrid or a mutation? Scientists quickly stepped in to study the footage, but so far, no solid answers. Whatever this thing was, it's still out there. And until experts figure it out, the mystery remains. Stormfish mystery. Storms bring all kinds of surprises, but this time it was a fish. A local in Florida stumbled upon it and was stunned. The fish had legs, something he had never seen before. Curious, he uploaded a video online, hoping for answers. Soon people started guessing. Many were convinced it was a frogfish, a species known for its limb-like fins. But something felt off. After doing some research, he noticed differences. This one looked a bit too strange, almost like it had changed during its wild journey through the storm. But how could a sea creature end up on land like this? Was it just nature's odd way of moving things around? Or maybe, just maybe, it was something else entirely.
Nasty.
Open discussion. Sewers are usually home to rats, cockroaches, and other small creatures. But this time, authorities were called in for something far stranger. Reports of eerie sounds led them to investigate, and that's when they spotted it. Something clinging to a pipe. The real shock came when they pulled it out. It was a small being with an unsettling face, almost cartoonish, but disturbingly real. Its many legs twitched, and its body seemed to blend with the surroundings as if it had adapted to life in the sewer. Could such creatures be forming due to the polluted water? Mutations happen in extreme conditions, but this thing looked too bizarre. Maybe nature created it, or maybe something else is happening beneath our cities. Thank you very much for watching the video. Share in the comments and do like the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again,